Welcome to the Hitchhiker's Guide to Calculus. My name's Kevin, and I'll be your guide to Chapter 1.6, Evaluating Limits Algebraically, Part 2, the 0 over 0 case, where we use factoring to help us. Now we know by now when we're evaluating a limit as x approaches a specific value, the first thing we should do is try to plug in that value. All right, so in this first example, I'm definitely trying to plug in 2, but we're going to find out that if we substitute 2 in, we're going to get 2 squared, that's 4, plus 10 minus 14, over 2 squared, again, that's 4 minus 4. And if we evaluate that, we get 0 over 0. It's important to note this, because when we get 0 over 0, that means that our original expression most likely can be simplified in some way to eventually be able to evaluate the limit. And in these cases, we're going to simplify by factoring. So let's take a look at what we can do with this first example. If we factor the top, it should turn into x plus 7 and x minus 2. And factoring the bottom, we'll have x plus 2 and x minus 2. Now it's important to note, unlike what I've done here, you should always maintain the limit notation until you've actually evaluated the limit. Otherwise, you run the risk of making your professors cranky. Now you can see the x minus 2's cancel out, leaving us with the limit as x approaches 2 of x plus 7 over x plus 2. And now we try to evaluate that limit again. Let's plug in 2 now that we got rid of those x minus 2's, which were causing our zeros to occur in the first place. We plug in 2, and we get 9 over 4, and that'll be our limit. Take the same thought to example B. We're going to try to plug in 0 first. Again, don't skip this step. Lots of people do, just assuming that the answer is going to be 0 over 0 and factoring will be helpful. If we plug in 0, we're going to get 0 times cosine of 0, which would be 1, 0 times 1. And on the bottom, plugging in 0, clearly that's 0 minus 0 plus 0. So we're going to get overall 0 over 0. Again, an indicator that we should go back and try to simplify this. There are going to be multiple ways to simplify and rearrange these expressions. But for now, we're focusing on factoring, and I notice in the bottom I can factor out an x. That's all I can do, though. So rewriting this, we'll have x cosine of x divided by x times the quantity x squared minus 2x plus 5. Oh, look, we can cancel out those x's, which is important because that was the issue. Plugging in 0 to those x's is going to get us a 0 in the denominator and a 0 in the numerator. We cancel them out. We no longer have that issue. So now we plug in 0 to our limit once more. And this time find the cosine of 0 is equal to 1. And in the denominator, plugging in 0, we just are left off with 5. So our overall limit should be 1/5. Factoring is just one of several ways to simplify the 0 over 0 case. So make sure to check back in for videos for Part 3 and Part 4 to learn other ways to tackle this common situation. To see more videos like this, click subscribe. Or to continue your journey through calculus, click the next video on your left.